Match number 4 would see a triple threat as Fentos would come in with his son Jay Morgan taking on Curt Atlas, and they'd be taking on the third and final entrant. Big Wavy, Roy Johnson was in the house. Yes, love a bit of Roy Johnson, do I? I love a bit of Curt Atlas. Fentos is quite intimidating as well. He's a big man, big man. Fentos would come in as cocky as always. Atlas was absolutely pumped for this one, and Johnson just looked his confident self. Big man, big man. Fentos would initially, at the start of the match, try to convince Johnson to team up against Atlas. Then he tried the same with Atlas. Johnson and Atlas would obviously team up, and they'd hit a double lariat, which would send Fentos outside. These two would then absolutely go at it. They're both big men. They absolutely brutalised each other. At this point, Johnson would hit a backbreaker for a 2 count. Then Fentos and Jay Morgan would pull Johnson from the ring and take him out. Curt Atlas at this point would hit a big boot on Fentos and a crossbody, and then he'd hit the Uranagi backbreaker. It's a nasty backbreaker for a 2 count. He'd then suplex. This was so impressive. Atlas would suplex Fentos onto Johnson, and then he'd go for the Boston Crab on Johnson, on Big Wavy, and Fentos would lock in the crossface, which didn't please Atlas too much because he felt that Fentos was trying to steal his victory. Fentos at this point would be whimpering, but they'd hit a double back elbow on, they'd double team on Johnson again, double back elbow. Then Atlas would fire Fentos into Johnson, and then they fold Johnson around the ring post. Fentos would try to pick up the pin again, and at this point Atlas would absolutely flip out at him. Johnson would then take advantage of the confusion between the two, hit a second rope shoulder charge on both, some fired up corner lariats, and on both. Johnson would then, Atlas and Johnson would then start to unload on Fentos, and Fentos would hit Fentos, some pathetic chops. Johnson and Atlas were just both completely unfazed. Fentos, these guys just didn't care who they teamed up with at this point. Fentos and Johnson would launch Atlas outside, and Fentos would hit a second rope moonsault onto Johnson for the 2 count. Johnson would hit the pounce, and you think he'd picked up the victory at this point, but he'd be thrown outside, and Curt Atlas would pick up the win. He'd steal the win right from underneath Johnson's nose. There was action everywhere in this one, absolute action everywhere. Fentos, he's that sort of cocky, snivelling heel roll that, you've got Jay Morgan going around the outside demanding respect for him. He's a very impressive wrestler, don't get me wrong, very impressive wrestler, knows how to play that heel roll very well. Put on an entertaining match. You could tell he's one of those that will do what he's got to do to try to pick up the win. He'll team up with someone and easily try to screw them over. Unlucky in this one. Johnson, just a beast, man. The man is he's impactful with everything that he does. He does some big moves, puts on an entertaining match. By rights, he was the one who performed the finishing maneuver. He would have thought the win was all his, but, unlucky. Atlas picked up the win. Atlas, he's about everywhere at the moment, is Atlas. Everyone seems to want him at the moment. He's just a powerhouse. He's a brute. He certainly knows how to get the job done, and there's no shame in how he picked up the win, the pinfall in this one. If you've got to steal the win, you've got to steal the win. It's all about getting the job done, getting the W. These 3 men put on a thoroughly entertaining match, right? If you go and get a chance, just go check these 3 guys out. Any opportunity, that you get for yourselves.